Hi guys, Demon here. Today we're gonna see how wonderful it is to have your first kiss. But let's begin with a story from Sugar Soda, the joys of being left-handed. My mother was always a strict woman when I was growing up. I would get screamed at if I didn't do what she told me straight away. She used to make me sleep outside if I disobeyed her more than once a day. She was overly religious, so I was dragged to church 4 days a week and then forced to go to my room afterwards and write down sections of the Bible in my handwriting. I was left-handed, but my mother regarded that as demon hand. If she caught me writing with my left hand, then she would hit me with a metal ruler until my hand went numb. I tried desperately to learn to write with my right hand, but I could never hold a pen or pencil correctly. The words always came out illegible, and I would then get screamed at for not trying hard enough. Last night, my mother called me down for dinner and was in a fantastic humor. She was all smiles as I slowly ate my food after we said grace. I started feeling lightheaded as I tried to get a drink, but collapsed on the ground. My mother walked up, rubbed my head, assured me everything will be okay. I awoke the next morning feeling numb all over. I reached to grab my phone, but I was confused when I couldn't pick it up. I pulled my hand back to look at it carefully and then let out an ear-splitting scream. My mom came walking into the room as I gazed down at the stump that was now my left hand, and she told me that now I had no choice but to be right-handed. OP, remember this, mother knows best. Down in the comments, we have this by Mel G146. As a lefty, this is horrifying. Also, I can confirm the forced conversion. My uncle started life as a lefty. If you listen to your mother, you'll be able to pick up girls by the dozen. Unlike this guy, this was written by Babon. I had my first kiss today at age 37. I'm pretty excited to be able to share my first kiss experience. I know that I'm pretty late to the party at age 37. Most people will find it pathetic, but I'm too excited to let the party poopers bring me down. I've never felt love before now, and I'm hoping that this feeling would continue. I'm going to see her tomorrow, and I just can't wait. So, we met yesterday. She was a slim, very fit, dirty blonde with deep blue eyes. She looked so happy, so vibrant, so perfect. I could barely look at her at first, but I knew I had to put my timidness aside and get to work. As I approached her, I noticed that her skin was so smooth and white as porcelain. I found that her name was Juan. She was a barista. She was 25 years old and enjoyed camping, it would seem. I woke up the nerve to get close enough to her to go for it. I went in, introduced myself, told her she was a personification of beauty, and when those words left my mouth, I went in for a kiss. I've never done this before, but there was just something different about her. It lasted roughly 7 seconds, and it was the most amazing experience I've ever had. It was so refreshing to be able to approach a woman and not have her pull away from me, let alone kiss me. I think for the first time in my life, I was truly happy. I had taken the next minute just to admire her beauty before I could press on with this enchanted encounter. When the funeral director came into the room.
So, the family of deceased is gonna have the ceremony on Saturday. Are we still in the process of getting the urn, headstone, and the arrangements made for the ceremony? I take it this is Juan Langdon?
He didn't have the same respect or reverence for my beloved beauty.
Wow.
He chuckled out of his fat, pig mouth.
She's a beauty. Shame how she died. They said it was carbon monoxide poisoning from the portal heater in her tent. The silent killer, they called it.
He whistled and jeered at my love. I just stayed silent until he ultimately left out of either boredom or awkwardness. I covered Juan up, placed her back into storage. I told her I would see her tomorrow and hopefully we could continue where we left off. Your first kiss is something that you'll never forget. Your first anything is what you never forget. So keep us up to date as you go ever so further. Relationships evolve over a while. Let's see how. This one was posted by Tadnik. My pregnant wife has been having weird cravings. I used to be a countryman. I could still feel the cold breeze and that pure smell when I imagined all that I had left behind. Everything because of that devil. I never fell in love with that woman, but I was almost 23, so I needed a wife. When you're a man surrounded by family pressure, you need to act like a real male, unless you want everyone in the neighborhood to start criticizing you. When one of your family badmouths you, the neighbors are the first to know, even before you. So, we were married. My dad gave me some money. I bought a house for me and my wife, and a few months later, she got pregnant. We lived in a house a little far from the neighbors, as I didn't want any nosy people stalking me or my wife. After, I don't know exactly, but let's say 6 or 7 months, she started having cravings. Every day I went to work in the fields with my father and arrived at night. That night, the light was off. When I touched the switch, the light came on and I saw blood on the switch. She was sleeping on the couch, blood on her fingertips. At first, I didn't thought anything about that. But I started to find more and more blood around the house when I came home at night. One night, I found the head of a mouse in the kitchen. I asked her about that, but she said that it was the cat that did it. 1 week later, I found the cat's head in the kitchen. Until that moment, she was acting almost normally. We talked about a baby and how strong and beautiful he would be. So I didn't question much about these things, as she had always given reasonable answers. One day, I returned home early. We watched the stars together, talk about our future, and I fell asleep in her lap. I woke up suddenly with an odd sensation in my hand. I looked, my index finger was not there. I screamed in fear. My first reaction was to run away. Then I saw her eating my finger in the kitchen, the vivid blood in her mouth. I didn't thought. I reacted to that brutal scene, so I killed her. I buried the shotgun along with her body. I moved to town, used a false name, let my beard and hair grow. Sometimes I can swear that I hear my son crying. Relationships are certainly hard. I hope you're getting better now. This one was posted by Jess Aldia. Problematic lice.
Oh no, sweetie.
Claudia said, eyeing the top of Maddie's head.
What?
The 2-year-old asked, clapping her hands over her hair.
You got lice, darling?
She told her, moving her hands out of the way. She adjusted her glasses and looked closer.
What are lice?
Maddie asked, smiling at her and tapping her nose with each word she answered.
Little tiny bugs. But don't worry.
She continued lifting up a finger at the girl's scrunched up face.
Auntie Claudie got you covered. Come, let's take care of this right now. Auntie Claudie? Yes, dear.
When she didn't say anything, she told her.
Into the bathroom. That's where we will handle it.
She held out her hand and led Maddie into the restroom, plopping her down on the sink counter. She pulled out a comb.
That looks funny.
She grabbed at it, and then Claudia let her have it for a moment.
That's a special one, just to get the little bugs out,
she said, taking the comb back and handing her juice box instead. Maddie whipped her the grape drink, while Claudia slid the comb through her wispy brown hair. She made a couple more passes with it, but the last one snagged.
Ow!
The girl pulled her face.
That hurt!
The older lady tersed, saying,
That won't do. It seems like there's a lot more than I thought.
Quickly, she deposited her onto the toilet.
Do I?
Maddie asked, blinking.
Do I have to sit on this? Yes, princess.
Claudia continued while shutting the door. The buzz of the clipper startled the 2-year-old, and she looked quizzically at the woman with the city glasses.
My daddy calls me princess. Does he now?
Claudia asked and began shaving her hair.
Need to get these lice out as soon as possible.
Maddie's head wobbled slightly and the juice box dropped on the floor.
Almost done now.
Claudia whispered, laying the girl down and undressing her as quickly as possible. Maddie snored slightly. Claudia put away the comb and the clippers. She put the girl's hair and shoes on the dress and crumpled them up. She shouldered her bag, hoisted the sleeping girl, and threw the bundle of hair and clothes into the trash. On the other side of the mall, a frantic mother screaming out for Maddie, not knowing she'll never see her again. Always be careful with your kids. Always. That's all for now. And remember, have a nightmarish night.